All right. With that being said, I'm your host, Darren Green, back with another episode of the Darren Green Show. This is episode 176, I believe. Yes. And I'm here with my co-host, Derek Dahl. How are you?
I'm well. I can't complain, child. Another day, another dollar.
Uh-huh.
Another week, another slay. So,
I know that's right. What you was up to this week?
well, this week I started my new position. I am now the in-school programs manager for the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, which is the largest performing arts center in the state of New Jersey. And I will be working with teaching artists and placing them inside the schools for programs for 6 to 12 weeks. They'll be working directly with our kids, getting them prepared in jazz, hip hop, dance, all of those things. We also offer virtual programming. We'll be, expanding that. So this summer, I'll be evaluating the programs that we've already had and preparing for the next school year. So I'm excited about it.
Well, I'm happy for you. I know we was talking about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen you post about it, and I was like, oh, okay, look at you. You out here doing your thing, getting that bag. Okay.
Period. Getting the bag. But most importantly, I think that because y'all know how I feel about working for people.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to, if I was going to go back to like a 9 to 5 or something like that, or a salary position, I wanted to make sure that I was in a place where I was making an impact in places that I cared about. Like, as an artist, we got to work. I think that extending our legacy as artists is always going to be about how do we get to the next generation and inspire them to pursue their dreams and their passion and to make a business out of it. And so I'm really, really privileged to be in this position where I can do that. So I'm helping the artist community as well as working with our kids in our schools and making sure that art stays alive. Performance art stays alive in the schools while they're trying to slash all these budgets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Okay, that's good. Excited.
Excited
For great good, as always.
I mean, it keeps me young. It keeps me young. I feel like doing the good work keeps me from aging,
and
that's really important.
As always. Yeah. Well,
What about you?
I've been hanging in there, same old. Still looking for work and all that good jazz. Well, I am embarking on my third interview with this radio station I've been trying to get into. So that's happening next Friday, which I'm excited about. Hopefully I get send me positive,
positive juju, all the things.
I'm gonna practice more on like how to do interviews and stuff like that, so I can really like because this is gonna be like a panel interview, so it's gonna have other people that work there. I'm gonna be meeting like 3 other producers and stuff. So,
oh, nice.
Hopefully this will be the one, the last interview.
Right.
They'll give me my decision, their decision.
We're gonna claim this job now.
We're gonna claim it now. Okay,
now.
I'm speaking it into existence, child.
Right.
I mean, but if push come to shove, I'm still on here. I'm still out here on these influencer streets. Okay, not influencer. Well, we getting there, but we getting there on YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. It will help me out a lot. With that being said, though, we won't be doing a show next week because that is the day of the interview. So, I want to just focus all my attention on that.
Absolutely.
And I will come back the following week. And it's also graduation week. Like I'm graduating the 2nd. I got some pictures that's coming out real soon. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at The Darren Green Show or Green World if you want to follow my personal page. Information is in the description, but yeah, they came out good. Like I was definitely very much impressed with these pictures, better than the ones that the school was offering because it was giving very much life touch.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have grown from that. Okay, we gotta rise from the shackles of life touch. Okay,
life touch and Orange Mills, child. Honey, ooh, my favorite memory is getting the proofs back and then taking them right onto Walgreens.
Shout out to Much Better Studios.
Right.
It's a studio company here. Well, they do a lot of things here in Trenton. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I just started watching Legendary. We talked about this earlier in the live, before we got started with the show. It's interesting. I don't know why I didn't watch it before.
Because you were one of those, you're a late piece of girl sometimes.
Not girl. Don't do me. First of all,
you're a late piece of girl sometimes, but
okay. First of all, don't come for me. I got a lot of shows to watch. Okay,
but you're here now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's really good.
Who's your favorite house so far?
Law he is mean.
Child, those fashion girls.
My favorite house. I do like House of LaBeija. They did their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this other one. It was this other one that their theme was the cat. They did like the cat theme, feline.
Oh yeah, I think that was the
Macchiato or
yes, Yohi Yamiyata. I can't remember their names, but that's the one that has Aoki in it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That yes, that dude that did the death drop. I was like, ooh,
I'm rooting for them.
Okay, what a 360. The 360. Let me not get nothing wrong, child. Don't read me in the comments.
Child.
But yeah, it's fun.
Good. I'm glad to see that. It's crazy that ballroom culture is so influential in pop culture. And I think Pose elevated it and kind of put it back in the forefront for people to kind of get interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I think Legendary really shows the heightened level of creativity that comes from the scene. And as a performer, as artists, it's like watching it like, oh my God, like, these are the people that need to be booking these jobs in Hollywood, working on these tours, getting these girls together. Okay,
right.
Beyonce wouldn't be Beyonce without a ballroom girl or a majorette. Okay,
mm-hmm.
So I think it's an amazing platform, and I'm also glad they brought Keke Palmer on as a judge this season too.
Yeah.
I don't know Meg was probably busy.
I don't know.
I like Keke. I like Keke on the show.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of worried she was going to be a little too nice, but no, she be having her moments. She's like, "Yeah, honey, you getting a 4." I was like, "Okay, all right." Yeah, but
I gotta catch up. I ain't seen her give a bad score yet. But Leomi, oh my God, Leomi, the second episode, Leomi ate the girls up. Was like, "You're getting a 3." It was like the lowest score in the history of the show. Like,
yes,
he was not impressed.
Not any mean. Law is mean. I'm sorry. I mean, he look. Definitely very much a key, very much entertaining, but like
he's very much the Simon Cowell of the show.
Yeah, I was like, dang. I'm not. Look, I don't know much about it, but I can't decipher if it was good or not. But I'll be like, they be doing their thing, like it's the effort, okay.
No, this ain't the participation Olympics, honey. You gotta bring it or not. Like you either gonna bring it
or you're not.
Or it's a chop. It's a chop.
Oh, jinx. Anyway.
You can also find that now on iTunes. Be like RuPaul. It's a chop. Available now on iTunes.
When that album dropping?
It's gonna drop when it drop. Okay. We're looking at late August, early September. Spring, summer, September.
Oh, it's giving very much Sheree. It's giving actually Nikki.
Spring, summer, September. I'm actually excited that people are waiting on my debut album. Like, I've been talking about my singles. I've been teasing the music. People really want to hear the album. I'm just like, okay, I want it right, y'all. Don't rush me. Don't rush me. When it come out, it's gonna come out. It's gonna be good. We're setting up the framework so that the promotion is right, and that we're not wasting people's time and money.
Right.
And I want to be able to give something that people can go back and listen to, and like, it has to have replay value. I don't want it to just drop and be like, oh, okay, that was cute, and then be done with it. Like, I want you to like listen to it and pay attention, because my life over the next year, a lot of the things that I talk about in my music, you're gonna see it, right? And so it's definitely gonna be one of those albums you want to tune in for, and like, you can focus. I'm gonna make sure you focus. Remember, I said this in this song, and you see it. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see what you got to, because there's some songs that I actually didn't hear yet, right? Okay. Because I know I heard a couple songs. You would play a couple songs, backstage and stuff like that. But you okay? All right.
Yeah, and then you came to the preview party, so you heard half of the album.
Okay.
I think we only played like 6 songs, but the album's going to be 12, and then the deluxe. Let me shut up. Anyway, so
all right, let's not talk more about it then. All right, that was the little.
I'm like, Anyway, when it comes, just know when it comes,
it's gonna be here.
It's gonna be here.
All right, okay. all right. That's definitely. Well, with that being said, let's get into these hot topics. We have to start with this one, because this one is not StreamYard acting like this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we gotta talk about it. I feel like we have as a commentary, we're obligated to talk about certain topics. This was a really big one this week, so it's like really hard to like stray away from it. But earlier this week, officials have confirmed that multiple people have been reported deceased following an active shooter incident at Robb Elementary School in Texas. It was initially reported that several children were confirmed dead and several others were reported injured and transferred to local hospitals. It's now been reported that 19 students and 2 teachers has passed away, making this the deadliest school shooting since Sandy Hook. We have now had 212 mass shootings in America this year. 212.
212.
212 mass
212 mass shootings in 2022.
In 2022, what I said, 2021?
No, it says this year. Like
this year.
2022. Really?
Yes. Over 200 mass shootings. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I'll look it up.
It's crazy. We've only heard about maybe 4.
Right. I vetted it, so it's
right. I'm just like,
multiple sources have said that.
No, seriously, I'm sitting here like, that's crazy. Right. I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at the list of the shootings, and I'm just like, this is crazy. This is only what, the 177 a day.
Yeah.
Year?
Yes. We're like almost halfway through the year. You should say.
That's kind of crazy. It's literally like the last one was in Buffalo, right? And that was on May 14th. It hadn't even been a full 2 weeks before the next one. This is crazy.
And we got Republicans gaslighting citizens into believing that this is not a gun issue. Let's get into it. A lot of people saying, mental illness is the problem. Mental illness is mental illness. We're not addressing.
If we're going to be talking about mental illness, they're going to be rounding up 70% of the population. Okay, we are all suffering from some form of mental illness or mental ailment. It's really, what's really pissing me off now is that these politicians get into this. These thoughts and prayers they don't matter to deceased children. Your thoughts and prayers don't matter. Y'all out here trying to, and my brain's like, okay, well, so y'all will stop people from having abortions so they can have more children. Why? So they can shoot the schools, or so that these deranged people can kill them? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If y'all are so pro-life, this is to our conservative people out there, to all these conservative Republicans who, the Second Amendment, it's our right to bear arms. Yes, but you don't need assault rifles. You don't need assault weapons. This idea that the government is going to take over the people and be at your door, you need to be able to have militia-grade artillery in your home is absolutely crazy to me. And I feel like it's like cause and effect. It's like, okay, well, you got all these guns on the street, all these military-grade guns on the street. At some point, the government is going to have to step in.
Yes.
The very thing that y'all are trying to avoid, you're perpetuating it.
Oh, but let's talk about why there a lot of Republicans are,
because the NRA is
they got y'all in shackles. They got y'all in shackles because that's what we clear. NRA is like one of the Republicans' biggest donors. when it comes to campaign money and
the Democrats need to end the filibuster immediately. End the filibuster while you can. We got midterm elections coming up. End the filibuster and get us some gun law reform. Get these guns off the streets. We're not saying strip everybody of their personal handguns or whatever. A handgun that you can shoot, you have to shoot one bullet at a time. If that's what you need to protect your house, that's fine. But these automatic assault rifles do not need to be in the hands of the public. Those are the weapons we're supposed to be using over there. We're supposed to be using those in the wars. They're not supposed to be on the streets. And all this stuff about we have the right to bear arms. Okay, well, we make amendments to laws all the time. I don't understand. And I guess after seeing the insurrection, like in my brain, I was like, if that wasn't a moment, this is the moment now. You need to start sweeping and getting these guns off the street because y'all do the wrong thing. Biden gets reelected or whatever. And these people decide to rise up and really do real damage and like take to the streets and shit like that. These are going to be the people that's going to be shooting up our houses and shooting up our neighborhoods.
We already got Trump talk about something. There's going to be a civil war or some shit like that. I'm like, what?
Like, listen, it's
all of this is happening, and the government is not prepared for this. And I'm not trying to sit there and come for Democrats as well.
They did nothing
being a little bit too nice, but
right, the Democrats, this oh my God, like in the filibuster, immediate gun law reform. Okay, and I liked that. I mean, it wasn't real, but I think I saw it on. It was like an episode of like Law and Order or something where this boy went to school to shoot up the school or whatever. I guess they caught him or whatever, and they ended up charging the parent because the parent bought the gun and bought the bullets. Right? Because hunting is part of their culture. It's a culture. It's protecting their culture. Hunting people is not part of your culture, honey. Yeah. Well, maybe if you're Caucasian, that is part of your heritage. It is definitely part of your heritage. But I think at this stage of the game, with all of this stuff that's happening, I'm still looking at this list of mass shootings and looking like there were multiple ones in a day. Like there was one in California and there was one in Houston on the 15th, right? The day before that, it was the shooting in Buffalo. Like the day before that, it was a mass shooting in Milwaukee. In April, there was an attack in Brooklyn. The 3rd, Sacramento. I'm just like, this.
And at some point,
this is the new pandemic. The new pandemic comes with bullets.
Yes,
we ain't dodging COVID. We dodging bullets.
Our elected officials, the conservative ones, you're worried about banning books and critical race theory being taught in class and Roe v. Wade and all the whole thing with the abortion stuff. Like y'all worried about the wrong things and people are literally dying. For the governor to sit there and have a town hall talking about, oh, it could have been worse. It is worse. I mean, how worse could it have been? We lost 19 kids. 19 kids, 2 teachers.
Guns are still guns are the leading cause of death in American children. And that is terrifying. It's terrifying. So now I was like, I hope that the Democrats use this as pushback when it comes to the Roe versus Wade situation. It's like y'all are talking about y'all are pro-life until lives are being lost. And they need to be held accountable. And that also means that the citizens have to be more proactive. We literally have to get these people out of office. Get them out of there. The ones that are just sitting and giving platitudes, get out of there. You got to get out of there. We need strong leadership. We need decisive leadership. We need people in the House and in the Senate that are going to stand up to these big donors and say, listen, now I'll take your money, but one thing I'm not wavering on are these things, right? Yeah. The fundamentals of our democracy are not up for debate, right? The protection of our children, our living children, like the people, the children that have been birthed and breathe, okay, and have to be fed and taken care of and have to go to doctor visits and have to be put in school, the living children. I ain't talking about the little fetal tissue that could at any moment become a tumor. I'm talking about the living, breathing children that we have to send outside of our homes every day and trust that they're going to come back home from school safe.
Yeah.
Like, see, this is why I can't run for office.
It's getting
They'd
worse.
be mad at me.
It's getting worse, and I don't want to sound like too pessimistic or whatever, but it's not going to stop. If we're going to keep going the same route that we're going now, it's going to be more shootings. There's going to be more situations. We're at a point. I was listening to the Grapevine. They had like their little panel discussion, and what got me was how somebody was like, it was one person that said it's literally because we're so divided and we're in our own little, because of COVID is also, we're in our own little bubbles and we're off to our own devices and we believe this and we're so like divided to the point where we've become radical. You could say that it's mostly white people doing this, but I mean, it's walks of everyone. It is. I mean, this is a lot of these mass shootings have been diverse. This person was Latin. Not sure if he was, conservative or not, but it's a real big problem. And I think that it starts with the guns. It starts with the, stricter gun laws. The fact that it's easier to get a gun at 18 than it is to get a license.
Yeah.
We're not doing any background checks. No background checks. You get a background check for work, but you ain't gonna get nobody a background check for a gun. And I don't believe the parents that sat there and was like, oh, the mom was like, oh, he never had a violent bone in his body. Honey, your child.
Right.
And you in denial, Miss Thang, you in denial.
Right. And then the kids, it's crazy to me that even the kids at the school were saying like, because how they try to spin the narrative when it's these kids. He was being bullied. Like, baby, the kids like, he was not being bullied. He was trying to bully folks and they paid him dust and he got mad about it.
Oh.
He got aggravated because
it was so many narratives with him. Like even Candace Owens' stupid ass is talking about this is a man wearing a dress and he was being bullied for that. And that's why talking about this picture that Boozy posted on Twitter, it was some other person, wasn't even the damn shooter wearing a dress.
I just want Candace Owens to shut up.
Like
why y'all can't tell her to stop talking? Everybody, no, you're right, freedom of speech. But anyway, it's not that I want people to stop talking. Some people just shouldn't be listened to at this point.
Yeah,
like, everybody's a talking head, but some of y'all just don't make no damn sense.
They don't.
She's one of those people.
I think somebody's paying her. She's being paid. A lot of them are.
Got to be.
You got to be for saying some dumb shit like that. Like, are we not like doing our research now? She's definitely. I'm gonna give it to her. She's definitely smarter than that.
Is she?
She is. She's not dumb, but that was a dumb observation, child. We ain't not vetting pictures and stuff like that. That picture was really surfacing around on social media, and when you zoom in, all you got to do is zoom in. That's not the person,
right?
I'm like, y'all are crazy. Y'all trying to fit all these narratives. Then the other narrative that he wasn't a citizen. He came across the border. This is what we talk about. Stricter border law. Oh, child. Trying to find everything else. You heard Ted Cruz? One of the reporters, I think it was a British reporter, was like, why does this only happen to your country? Yeah, I guess he got offended by that.
Why does this only happen in your country or in your state?
Well, he said your country. I mean, because mass shootings do happen around the country.
America. Oh, I was looking at a chart last night about this, and it's like America has the most weapons of any country in the world by 400%. Why the fuck do we need all these weapons anyway? It's like all the crazy people got guns.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my first. Well, I ain't gonna say that because I can bust back too. But me busting back is to protect myself from that. And I feel like if everybody think everybody crazy and everybody's trying to protect themselves from that, like whatever happened to fist fighting? Like y'all niggas scared to square up, and I'm not promoting violence. I'm just saying, like whatever happened to like just square up in the streets, get your licks in, get that aggression off, and then move on. Like
I mean, but this was so bizarre.
You have to like out here killing people.
Yeah. I mean, out here killing people that don't have nothing to do with, like the elementary school kids. Like you a whole high schooler.
Right. What I got to do with it?
What I
can't even like
child, it's really, and it's also sad when you think about it, because it's like, these parents, there's still parents waiting to figure out what's going on if their child survived or not. like, what the hell happened? And what the hell happened the day of? Because the cops, I
Baby,
heard
they
I
said
was out there chilling, not doing shit.
for 40 minutes. And they say some of the cops actually went in the school to get their kids.
Oh, I'm gonna get mines first. Hold on.
And then came out and waited. They said it was like 40 to 90 minutes waiting while the active shooting was going on. It's
So
like,
all this shit about
y'all police officers, y'all scared to go in there and get shot. Y'all also protect and serve, right? But if it was an unarmed black man or unarmed black woman, you're gonna kill them. But these mass shooters, crazy enough, these mass shooters always seem to somehow get arrested, detained. They get to go to trial. And we get to see them be made human, and we have to hear their life stories. Because I don't care. Lock them up.
Yeah.
The gun was on them. They shot at the people. What else do we have to discuss here? They deserve a fair trial, a trial by fire. Send their ass on into the pokey.
Now,
get them the mental evaluation they need. If they are mentally disturbed, which I'm pretty sure you have to be a little touched to take a AR-15 and shoot up a school of kids, something's wrong. They are a few fries short of a Happy Meal.
Yeah, they ended up getting him, but I think it wasn't the police. I think it was the SWAT. But you know, even that, like they killed him, but they didn't kill the person at Buffalo. Like, it's weird. It's very weird. This country is very weird. I was definitely looking up, like, child, what's the cost of living in Toronto, child? I'm about to abandon ship, and you're hearing it from me. We about to be based in Canada, okay?
That's fine. I got my passport. I can perform up there.
Okay. Because, like, at this point, like, what else can we do? Because obviously things are not going to change. The NRA is going to have shackles on these damn Republicans. You know, the Democrats are going to continue to be
lame ducks,
mindless. But, like, damn, what is your plan? And Joe Budden, not Joe Budden,
not Joe Budden, the president, child.
Joe Biden, sitting there talking all that stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, what we doing? What's up?
We're going to create a special task force that will be able to look at the data to determine the such and such. Baby, listen, I feel like at this point we need common sense leadership. Like, okay. I feel like now on the left, it's becoming like intellectual Olympics where everybody wants to be like experts and geniuses about all this other stuff, and why we should listen to them because they're so highly educated. And I believe that education is key. I also believe trusting people who have done the work and done the research. But we also need people in the room that have common sense. Common sense. We need common sense reform. We need common sense reform on the industrial prison complex in America. And I have to remind myself and others all the time that this country, okay, we have to remember where we are and how I was founded. Everybody want to talk about the forefathers and the founding principles and how we have to protect it. This country was founded and deeply rooted in imperial, capitalistic, white, patriarchal supremacy. Those things are enshrined in our laws. They're enshrined in our society. And though we are trying to maneuver around it to be more inclusive and to make this place safer and more equitable, until that is destroyed, we're never going to be the progressive nation that we boast to be to these other nations. And I think that what we're seeing is the reaction to that reality is that, yes, there are laws and there are people who are fighting to break down that particular system. And these people who hold those things that I listed very dear, they're reacting in a way that is much more violent than how the people who want to see America progress are acting. We're always told to be docile and that, nonviolence is the answer. And, we've got to end the bloodshed. Like, these people are fucking crazy and they are willing to kill for these ideals. What are y'all missing? They're willing to kill people to protect imperialistic, capital, patriarchal white supremacy. They're willing to kill people for it, right? So what that tells me is they're willing to die for it.
Yeah.
So get rid of them. What's the problem, Stevie?
And that's that on that. That's
I'm just saying.
That is it.
Look, everything for everybody, and sometimes. Okay.
What Dr. Omar say? Some people got to go for good. Let me see.
Baby, it's a chop.
It is a chop, child. Okay, but I do want to send prayers to the families that have lost their children, and to anyone who has, had, because this affected a lot of people. Like this, a lot of people. I think it's just like because it's happening so much, and people are starting to get scared. Like, I got cousins and that go to elementary school, and I have 2 godchildren, child. Like, it's I'm really scared for them out here. Like, it's really gonna be. Yeah, it's scary.
It's traumatizing. It is traumatizing. It's horrifying. It's just horrifying. I'm so glad I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews that are school age. And I'm like, I cannot imagine what these parents and these family members are going through right now. I would be totally distraught and pissed off. Like, y'all are literally killing our kids while also trying to demand that people bring more babies into this madness. Literally trying to tell people they have to
and then trying to get rid of contraceptives. I'm hearing I'm like, well, damn.
What? Like, are they trying to we're at a shortage? Well, if y'all are at a shortage for children, you may want to start looking at the ways that they out here dying.
And then they running out of Similac and formula and stuff. So it's like, what do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to
do? This is so ghetto.
This is a third world country, and you're hearing it from me. Like Trump said back in that boardroom, it's shithole country. This is the shithole country that he's talking about.
We are the shiniest, most glittering piece of shit. I know this is probably gonna come back to haunt me, but I said it and I mean it, and I think that there's so much promise in our country, and I just feel like all of the good things. So we want to highlight that and stay optimistic and focus on hope for the future, that things will get better. That hope doesn't mean anything if we're inactive in it, right? It's just like the thoughts and prayers. Like, that's good for you. That makes you feel better when you say, oh my God, I'm thinking about them and I'm gonna pray for them.
Oh, you're my thoughts and prayers.
You're my thoughts and prayers, and let the Lord intervene in all these things. No, sweetheart, we need action. We need people that are willing to stand up and speak, stand up and change these laws, stand up and say, get these guns off the street. We need people that are willing to sign these bills, people that are willing to go down to their state legislature. If y'all gonna storm the Capitol for something, storm the Capitol and demand that they get a hold of the things that are taking us out of here. If you're gonna storm it for anything, don't be storming the Capitol, no fake like shit that don't matter and that there's no data to support what you're saying. Storm the Capitol and demand that we get real protections, protecting our privacy, protecting our children, okay, protecting the best interests of American citizens. Go storm the Capitol for that, okay. And it doesn't have to be a violent thing, but there's strength in numbers, and like, I hope to see with all the things in all these states that are trying to restrict and suppress voting. I hope that we see the largest boom of votes that we haven't seen since 2018. Every year, the numbers get higher and higher of participation, and I hope this is just another record year, because this shit is out of control, and we have to show up. Democracy is a practice of participation. We only get things done when we show up and let our voices be heard. I know there's so much going on in the world, and you got to work, and you got kids, and you got, you have elders in your family that you have to take care of, and you're trying to still navigate through this panini. But we have to show up to these polls. We have to hold our elected officials accountable. If they're not doing their jobs, get them out. And this is also a message to those of you who are millennials. When Whitney Houston said, I believe that children are the future, she was talking about us. Okay, we have to stand up and speak up more. We are probably one of the most passive generations since Generation X, and the generation before that was the silent generation. We cannot afford to be passive right now. We have to continue to show up. We have to continue to open our mouths. We have to continue to knock on those doors. We have to continue to make those posts that people don't want to talk about. We have to continue to be part of that conversation. And it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. right? But that is the world we live in. And if there are people who are willing to take up arms for an ideal and an idea they have in their head about what they want their country to be, we cannot afford to sit back and just watch it happen. We have to be informed and we have to be active. So make sure you're registered to vote. We'll see you. All right. So no, because you got my blood pressure up.
Yeah, no, I had to sit back and let you speak because I know you have good insight
hot now.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like it's so sad. Like I'm trying not to cry because it's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad where we are right now. It's so sad, and we wanted it to be better, and we hoped that we would be better. But the people ain't. It's us. It's us. It's us. It's not about blaming anybody. It's us. We have to be the change. We have to do it. We have to do it. Yeah.
We got to put our differences aside because this is not a race thing. Clearly, this is a us thing. This is a United States issue. Okay, we need to come together for this, and we'll just end on that. We can get to the mess at this point because that's our main. We want to brighten the energy up a little bit and talk about some money. And start with this one right here. For people that's on Instagram Live, I just put up a picture of Caitlyn Jenner because she has been the talk of the week also, child. Okay.
That's not Sarah Huckabee, child.
Oh, God, I hope not. During a recent sit-down interview with the Pivot podcast, Caitlyn Jenner shared her thoughts about what she believes is a transgender popularity contest of sorts, saying everybody, in quotes, everybody thinks they're trans, which is not the case. As we know, Caitlyn Jenner has been extremely vocal when it comes to transgender issues, and her opinions don't always sit well with the majority. However, she doesn't seem to be concerned about the backlash, as she likely is the cause of a lot of it for her recent statements about popularity of being transgender. Now, she says while explaining that due to the issue of being transgender being a high popularized thing in the media, many people, including children, are proclaiming to be transgender because they believe it's the popular thing to do right now. She said, in quotes, right now, because of the amount of publicity that it's getting, it's like everybody thinks that they're trans, and it's not the case. And that's what she said, essentially. Like, I just would be paraphrased. That whole last paragraph is what she basically said. But I was gonna show the video, but I'm just like, I don't want to show the video.
I want to see it. I would like to see it.
You would like to see it?
I would like to see it, yes.
I don't have it piled up, but
okay. Never mind. But I'm gonna say, like I said early in the podcast, early in the show, that there are a lot of talking heads that they're gonna talk, but we don't have to listen to them. I feel like Caitlyn Jenner is one of those people. I know that her story is, her story is her own story. And I think that the reason she received so much backlash in the LGBTQ community is because there's so much privilege that she carries that she hasn't denounced yet, while also taking up the space in the trans community. This was a rich white man, on national television in the entertainment circle, right? Who shared their journey as far as their identity as trans. This was a rich white male conservative. Sweetheart, you are the enemy.
So my thing is this, and I want to shake the table because that's what we're doing now. You saying that this is something that, first of all, let me look back at the quote because I need to see this. Everybody thinks that they're trans, which is not the case, or that it's popular. It's a popular trend to be trans. You are a walking contradictory because there's so many people that said that. Look, and I'm just saying what the people are saying. People said that your transition was a ploy to get, popularity or some type of comeuppance of this situation. Like, we get it. Like, people for years have always, had this. He always, when she was Bruce, people had that inkling that, okay, maybe this person was queer or
Mhm.
whatever the case was.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the shit that she was doing after the transition and all that, like it's giving what you're saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's looking like she looks like a hypocrite.
It's giving very much
Projecting.
not just projecting. It's like, okay, well, you transitioned into Caitlyn Jenner, but you still have you're still have the mind of Bruce
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that, and listen, this is not me trying to police anybody's sexuality, because I feel like whatever makes you come do it. But this was a rich white male conservative who transitioned into womanhood, who is still rich,
Mm-hmm.
still white, and still conservative, right? And we think about the LGBTQ community and we think about disenfranchisement and we look at the numbers. We take it to the numbers, right? Black and brown people within our community still to this day do not have the amount of privilege, the level of privilege that Caitlyn Jenner has. The fact that she can say something representing the LGBTQ community, our struggles, and then have the audacity to say that everybody wants to be trans now because it's popular. Sweetheart, you could have took your shots in the dark and did whatever you wanted to do, right? Lived your best life, got on your yachts and did your thing. Mm-hmm. Don't come over here trying to speak for for a disenfranchised community from a place of white male privilege.
Yes. Yes.
That is why
I've been meaning to talk about this topic ever since she made that comment about the whole trans people, trans women in particular, because they only care about trans women being a part of different athletic activities.
Right.
And her stance on that is just like, sometimes I'm sorry how crazy this may come off, but like, I don't think that she believes that she's trans. Like, I don't think that she believes that she is a woman. Like, I don't know what. She's very confusing, and I feel like she's making and I hate to be the person to be like, oh, you making everybody look bad, you making all the trans people look bad, but like, you making the community look crazy as hell, because then they're gonna use you as a way. See, y'all not all together because look at Caitlyn.
White, rich, privileged men will use Caitlyn Jenner as an example, because it is a reflection of their idea of a queer identity. And that's when I'm saying everybody gonna talk, but not everyone needs to be listened to. I don't know who decided that Caitlyn Jenner was gonna be the voice of the trans community. May have been something that she decided, maybe something that her management and marketing team says, oh yes, now that you're transitioning, this is a moment where you can advocate. But sometimes, and I talk about this when it comes to advocating for Black liberation. Sometimes the call is coming from inside the house. Okay. And Caitlyn Jenner is one of those people who we've let in our house, who has hijacked the movement, hijacked the microphone, hijacked the spotlight, and is literally reiterating the same type of transphobic rhetoric that we've heard over and over and over again. And I'm not surprised by it, but the backlash that she's getting is deserved.
Yeah.
It's deserved. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see more Black trans women speak up more. And I was watching a video the other week where it was a white woman on TikTok, I think, and she was talking about the outburst or outcry of white women in this whole idea that Roe v. Wade could be overturned, and saying that, where are all the Black women? Why aren't they backing us up? Why are they quiet? Why are they blah, blah, blah? And it's like, listen, Black women been leading the fight for everything for forever. Where were y'all? Y'all took over the women's suffrage movement that Black women were leading. Shout out to the Deltas. Okay. You know what I mean? And you took that over because it affected you, and now you're interested in it. When it was civil rights, y'all was quiet for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
because you were tied to your husbands and to your household and backing up your man, right? And I just think that with all the work that we've done and the progress and the fight that we have, the fight that we still have to offer in our community, we don't need people like Caitlyn Jenner. We don't need people like Caitlyn Jenner. I'm open to diverse opinions. I think it's great for conversation, but when it comes to progress,
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner is not progressive. Caitlyn Jenner is not a progressive voice of the LGBT community. Caitlyn Jenner is the Candace Owens of trans right now.
Yeah.
That's not helpful to us. It's not helpful to the LGBT community to have these people be the talking heads that get all the coverage in the press. Give me Hope Giselle. What does Hope Giselle say? What did Laverne Cox say?
Laverne, yeah, I was about to, yeah.
What did T.S. Madison say?
We don't care what Caitlyn has to say because Caitlyn doesn't have the what's the word? Just she doesn't have this. It's not, something ain't right up there.
Right. And I'm like, Caitlyn's been trans now for what, maybe 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
7 years, battling and just getting to a space where she could transition and all this stuff. She could have transitioned 20 years ago if she wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she had the access to do so.
But she did it because it was what? Popular.
It was popular now.
Air quotes.
Right. So it's like a walking contradiction. And you have people who have been actively transitioned for over 20 years still to this day, fighting for health care.
Mm-hmm.
For health care. Still having to resort to sex work because they're not able to get a job. Mm-hmm. Because this is a word that we use in the community, because they clockable. Other people are clockable and they're spooked. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like, Caitlyn Jenner is not the voice of the LGBTQ community, definitely not the trans community, not the one that matters. I'm not saying that white trans people don't matter. What I'm saying is they're not as disenfranchised.
I feel like they get it, like white trans people.
Right.
They get it because they're not messing with her either.
Right. And another statistic, 57 trans Americans have been murdered this year already. Mm-hmm. 57. Wow. Last year was the deadliest. Over 351 trans, 371, I think it was the number, had been murdered last year, which was the deadliest year for trans Americans. People like Caitlyn Jenner makes it worse, mm-hmm. because you are literally emboldening the ideas of people who hate us. Why can't people see that?
And the people that you stand beside, they're laughing at you
because you want to be.
They won't let you in. You're not in.
Wanting to run for governor, I was like, child, I wish they would. What are you talking about?
Child,
Caitlyn Jenner still has a long way to go in her transition.
Yeah,
she's old as hell, but she has a long way to go in her transition for her mind to catch up to the struggle, for her mind to catch up on the fight. There's so much education.
She ain't got the mental capacity.
Right. There's so much education that has to be done there for her to understand that what she's doing is hurtful and not helpful. Shut up. Take your meds. Take your shot. Live your life. Shut up. Shush. Shh.
And that's that on that. That's that on that. All right, let's move on to our subtopics. I did want to talk about NORE. Okay, mm-hmm. Now you know about it's that podcast that they be doing with everybody sitting at the table, they eating chicken, mm-hmm. not lemon pepper chicken, and smoking and drinking and all that. Those are some real good shows. I mean, I find I watch some of his interviews with certain celebrities, but he has a bone to pick with artists who choose to grant interviews to more mainstream outlets. Now, the rapper turned podcaster, the show Drink Champs has become one of the most well-known viral moments in hip hop in the past few years. Mm-hmm. However, there has been a certain class of artists who offer first looks to show, such as David Letterman, my next guest, Zane Lowe's Apple Podcast, and different like shows on CBS This Morning with Gayle and all that. So he essentially makes tweets saying that, why y'all going to all these major, why our black artists, I guess singling out black artists, are going to these David Lettermans, or going to these Zane Lowes, or even Gayle King, even though she's black or whatever, or these, let's say, these white platforms, and not going to, I guess, in the sense he said, we are the culture, like, his podcast is a part of the, hip hop culture and stuff like that. Like, why aren't y'all coming here? And I thought it was an interesting, thought-provoking, like, conversation, because, in a way, I kind of got what he was saying. It would be nice for a lot of, black artists, once they make it, like, they do go off and do, like, they're on Jimmy Kimmel, they're on, Ellen and all that, but you'll never see them on, like, a black platform, which we kind of got back in the day a little bit. Like, they would come to, BET, 106 and Park, and all those, radio and stuff like that. We don't see a lot of that no more.
Well, I mean, BET still black besides the Tyler Perry programming?
Well, I mean, like podcasting. Like, podcasting is a big thing now. A lot of that show that NORE is in, he does some podcasts. It's on YouTube. Now, I mean, he had Kanye West on there before. Like, he had different artists, but I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know what type of artist he's expecting. Like, is he expecting like a Meg Thee Stallion, a Beyonce, a Rihanna, or something? Like,
well, Meg Thee Stallion, Beyonce, and Rihanna don't really need to be on those kind of platforms at the level of their careve. I think that his type of show is great for like upcoming and rising artists for exposure. But once you've entered into the pop realm, you have to do popular and mainstream things,
right?
Because now it's not just you grinding and hustling and trying to make it. You've made it, and now you're trying to maintain and maximize, right?
Yeah.
So I hear what he's saying. I also agree. I think that on the flip side of what he's saying, I think that black platforms black platforms like his show want to compete with mainstream. So they want those people, oh, hey, my aunt Matt, my daddy's sister is watching us. Hey, Matt. Want to compete with those mainstream type shows. And so they're going after the same type of people. But what I feel will build up their platforms more is if they're the ones discovering talent, right? Because then you become a feeder, and that allows you to become even bigger. Like, y'all should be booking people like me.
Oh, hello.
Because when we get on the David Lettermans, that's when we get a chance to talk about those experiences of saying that, yes, the reason I'm able to be successful in mainstream is because I became successful within my community. Shows like Drink Champs gave me an opportunity to expose my brand, expose my talent. And we don't have the Arsenio Hall show anymore. We don't have the BET late night shows anymore. Because they were taken over by white companies. They were taken over by white corporations that were mainstream, and their job is to make more money, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to get into that space, like, put us on, right? So we can come back. Put us on so we can come back. You're not gonna get a Beyonce because Beyonce didn't have to go through you to get where she is. Why would she go all the way back down?
And that's what I'm saying. Like the celebrities that he does have on that show, like, I'm like, what more could you get? Like, who else do you want? Like,
and it's niche. It's very niche. Like, hip hop is the most influential form of music in the world. I don't know if you've seen the W magazine in Korea, but like, literally, it's Asian people with braids and baggy clothes, gold teeth, and like, we are the culture.
Yeah.
And yes, we do need to treat those spaces as if they are mainstream, but it works both ways. You got to be able to feed the people if you want us to elevate more together. And you can't reach out for those types of stars who've already burst through their stratosphere without going through you first, expecting them to come back to you. That's not how that works.
Right.
It don't work that way. So give more of us upcoming and rising artists an opportunity to share our gifts before we get to the main stage, so we can come back and show gratitude and also increase the value of those particular platforms. We have to take care of us first, right? We have to take care of us first. And I was thinking the other day, like, damn, we really sat back over the last 5 years and let Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande become the whether we say it or not, the king and queen of R&B music in pop culture. We really sat back and What's his name with the new glamorous song?
Oh, Jack Harlow. Oh my
Jack
God.
Harlow. Jack Harlow is topping the chart with that hip hop. Hip hop is number one, but it's not us. Right? It's us, but not
Diet
us.
Drake. He's Diet Drake.
Right. So I'm just like, I am for gatekeeping to a certain extent,
Okay,
where
clear.
we can let people in, but like, baby, you're not dominating us.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna come in my house and dominate me. Because of how talented you are. There's your talent. I should be able to look at 20 to 30 other artists that should be able to outperform you. And I feel like if I was born in the 50s, I'd be the same way, like, Elvis, who the hell? Child, if you don't put on that Chuck Berry record and quit playing with me.
Child, the Him Podcast is on the live. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm
Hey, Him.
Big fan of y'all's.
Like, I don't understand how we have gotten to the place where I feel like it's like inclusion. We are always forced to include people in our spaces, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's like a form of validation to say our space is valid. We're open to everybody. We have to learn how to, like my friend Anya said, we have to learn how to safeguard Black things, right? Because we leave the door open for cultural appropriation, and then the window closes for cultural appreciation. There's a way to appreciate the culture, and then we watch it get appropriated and then sent back to us with a high dollar tag on it. We have to now buy our culture at 300% times the price.
A mess.
Like, are y'all crazy? So when it comes to these Black platforms, put us on. Put the Black artists on.
I mean,
get us
kind of weird though.
Running in that space, so that when we do bust into mainstream, into the pop realm, we can come back. We're the ones that validify these particular platforms, so that we can come back and also expose newer artists and keep that synergy going. That's our job. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Yeah. So if we want to protect our people and build them up, do it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird though, because I know he brought up David Letterman. And I know David Letterman recently did an interview with Cardi, and I seen like a clip of them going, I guess, to some kind of corner store somewhere in
bodega.
And I was just like, okay, like it's okay. It is kind of weird. You know, so and so could have did this, but like you said, you know, once you get to that mainstream, you know, once you get mainstream, you got to do interviews with certain people, and I don't know. I just wish we could see a lot of us get to those much. Like, why can't we be mainstream? Like, there's okay, we got Oprah, we got Gayle a little bit. I mean, at one point,
because we have to be, in order for us to be mainstream, we have to be palatable to white people because they're the majority. Until they get on the global stage, and that's what I'm saying. That's why hip hop is the most influential form of music right now. Because guess what? There are more Black and brown people in the world than there are white people. In America, the population is mostly white. So when you're a Black artist in America and you want to go pop, you have to be palatable to white people in order for you to get access, right? Access to the global stage in a media sense. But that's why I'm glad to see a lot of Black artists, especially Black queer artists. I'm so glad I got my passport. Bitch, we're doing it for ourselves now. I'm not going to be fighting and competing and begging and pleading for me to come on Hot 97 to get my music. I'm not doing that. I ain't doing all that. I ain't gonna pay no DJs, the clubs to play my shit when you're pulling shit off of SoundCloud and you're pulling shit off of other mainstream radio stations to play it because it's popular. No, I'm gonna take my ass over to Europe. I'm gonna go play over there and get my music started. I'm gonna go to Africa. Okay, I'm gonna start working with these African artists from SoundCloud, get my music going over there so I can build up my own tour. Because I feel like that's how it works. Once you go big outside of your own home or your own community, then everybody wants to claim you and like, I'm so proud of you. And like Post Malone said, all I hear from you now is congratulations. And I feel like it's the same thing in your hometown. You at home, Everybody knows you. They know what you're trying to do. People will pat you on the back, but not support you. They won't buy your music. They won't pay for a ticket for your shows because they're like, I know you. I should be able to have
like, oh my God, I'm going to listen to your podcast. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen tomorrow. Okay.
Right. And the stuff that we need you to do for free. Like, I just need you to hit a share.
It costs nothing.
It costs nothing to share. It costs nothing to like. It costs nothing for you to engage with us or engage with the work. But you won't do that. But as soon as you see the other people, the outside people, oh, they like you. Oh, you popping. Now you want to be involved. And I feel like that's the same culture we're dealing with when it comes to these artists and when it comes to platforms like Drink Champs. You know, thank God for YouTube that's accessible to most countries in the world where other people can see what we're doing and support us and give us other opportunities that we may not have here. There's so much competition that's happening in America right now for people to get into these spaces. And, you know, I just feel like once we break that shackle and just go and do, find the people that fuck with you and everything else will fall into place. So for platforms like Drink Champs, my advice is you better start expanding your pool. We know you want good artists, go find them. They're here. They're looking for opportunities. But y'all turn us away because we're not Drake. You turn us away because we're not Kanye or we're not Meg Thee Stallion or Jack Harlow yet. So why would you be surprised that when we do get to that platform, when we have to hop, skip, and jump over you, that we don't want to come back?
And that's an independent platform. Like they post on YouTube and stuff. So I mean, it would make sense to. I mean, I guess they're trying to compete with the mainstream, and y'all need to understand that that's just not going. You have to do it at your own pace and your own level. And look,
actually, I want to highlight a comment that Anya Edgerson made on our Instagram live right now, and it says the Breakfast Club became popular for disrespecting our Black artists. That's why Beyonce hasn't come on the show yet. And so I consider the Breakfast Club to be mainstream Black media. And it's true. It's like some of y'all get us into these spaces and try to embarrass us.
Yeah.
Like
they're not letting another show do that. And I think a lot of the shows like a Breakfast Club or other shows are the reason why you won't get an interview with the Rihanna or Beyonce or Meg Thee Stallion. Like, I mean, did you see that interview with Ari Lennox? With Ari Lennox, it was like a regular podcaster. He's just asking her like, "Who effing you?"
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having.
We will never get an interview with Ari Lennox again. Like,
there's nothing wrong with having like candid interviews. I think that the age that we're in or the era that we're in now, things are a little more crass. But that's an interview that you accept, right? That means that you've seen their show before and you're willing to come on. You take the time to go see what they give. But it's also like part of the game too. It's like, I know I have to check off this box in order for me to get to this place, right? How many people watch this show? That's exposure. I can plug my music. I just have to smile and nod and laugh through an hour with this person.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just part of the game.
Artists are now saying, I'm not doing it. You've seen the whole thing with the Kalani in their radio station they were going back and forth because I think she was kind of offended by how the questions were, like asking her because she's, I guess, fluid or something like that, or she's they are non-binary. You know, are you messing with SZA? Are you scissoring SZA? Like, I mean, at some point the questions do get a little bit evasive. I get it. And a lot of these artists are like, you know what, I don't have to do this. I can, my promotion is social media now. I don't need y'all no more.
Right, baby. And they don't got good PR teams either, because my publicist would have been like, oh, that's the end of the interview, sweetheart. I know we sent you an email saying these are the things you can talk about, and all the other stuff y'all talking about. We just don't.
Whatever happened to that? Are people not doing that no more, or are they just disregarding it?
People don't have real teams. I can't relate, but people don't have real teams anymore because Baby Kim Ford would never. I would be sitting, and artists. Some artists are afraid to advocate for themselves. I'm proud of Kehlani for sticking up for herself. A lot of artists get frozen in that space because they want it so bad. Like, you really just want people to love your art. You really want people to fuck with you, and you really want to be able to, expand and grow your territory. But some things just ain't gonna fly, and you got to be able to.
What you're not gonna do is ask me that.
Right. I would give them they get the Whitney Houston smile from me.
Well, you don't know what the you're talking about.
Right, you don't know what the you're talking about. Do you know? Do you know, Diane?
The age of Wendy Williams is, I don't want to say it's over, but like, you know, her type of media where you can ask these egregious questions like this and expect to still have a career or to have people come to your show. Like, I
No.
feel like a lot of people are trying to emulate that, but they can't now.
They want viral moments. They want to be picked up by the Shade Room. They want to be picked up by on-site media. They want to be discussed on Hollywood Unlocked, which it does a disservice to the artist, but also puts it's great for their show, right? Ooh, let me watch this.
It's about the viral clip. It's about the viral
right.
clip.
What happened to the shows that are actually uplifting to the artists? Now it's all about asking these embarrassing ass questions and getting these gag moments, right, for shock value. Not about appreciating artists, giving them their flowers, allowing them to share their story. And it also comes with a lack of media training. A lot of these new artists have not been trained to be in the media because they've blown up off Instagram. And so they go into these interviews not knowing how to set boundaries before they tape. Because I'm very clear, before you hit that red light, let me tell you, this is what you need to avoid. Because if you touch on this, the interview is over. It's over. It's over.
I'm walking out.
I'm walking out. And it'll be a breach of contract and you're going to pay me. Okay. So yeah, a lot of them have to have media training or how to pivot conversations, because you can ask me anything, but I know what I came here to talk about. And whatever you ask me, I'm gonna direct it right on back to what I came here to talk about.
But sometimes as a person that I'm not in that space officially, like we do this independently. But I'm pretty sure there's probably people behind them like, ask this question, it's going to get the views, we need the ratings on the show. And I think when it comes to commentators, like, we put in a rock in a hard place, because it's like, yes, we don't want to offend the people that we have on our show, but we also want to have a memorable moment, or we want to have a memorable moment on an interview. And sometimes just asking about your songs and what inspired you to make this song is not enough. Like, sometimes, because, you know, the human interest story, and nowadays the human interest story is better than the content.
Listen, you can have a viral moment. You can ask somebody about how they wrote a song or what inspired a song on this album, and them explaining to you about how they were having a threesome with somebody, and then somebody got mad and they wrote blah blah. Like, you can have those viral moments. It's just about, I think there's some type of decorum that interviewers have to have.
Yeah.
And like, everybody wants to be TMZ and tabloid media and break a news story. That's a scandalous story, like I said, for shock value, when you still could have the benefit of having a really, really great interview, an insightful interview, more than which a lot of podcasters aren't educated on this realm either. They just come into space and, you know, want to stir up the mess, which if that's part of their brand, is part of their brand. But, you know, my degree is in broadcasting for radio and television. And so when I enter these spaces, I always carry that with me, because I've been trained. I understand like the ethics of being a journalist, and also protecting the integrity of the people that I'm engaging. So I'm not going to ask you a question that's purposely meant to embarrass you. However, if it's a topic that's already in the media, I want to be able to present an opportunity for you to give your side of the story.
There's a way to do it.
More insight. Yeah, there's a way to do everything. And I just feel like a lot of these new podcasters / interviewers are just crass, because they're looking at the Breakfast Club and they're looking at Wendy Williams and just being and trying to go for that jugular moment.
Let me tell you something. A lot of y'all need that AP style book, okay, that tells you everything you need to know about what's appropriate and what's ethically, you know, right when it comes to journalism and stuff like that. And they go hand in hand with television and radio.
These kids don't read. They just go off.
They don't read.
Whatever your video clip they saw on Instagram. That's the news.
And they go by the Shade Room. They were like, okay, but the Shade Room do this. Let me do that.
Right.
Girl, no.
Speaking of interviews, so what's going on with this Isaiah Rashad interview with Joe Budden?
I seen some clips. I ain't see the whole interview, but I seen some clips that they were talking about this. I mean, I guess the situation that we talked about last episode, well, a couple episodes ago, about the the leaked videos, plural. Yeah. And I guess somewhere along the lines where everybody's talking about, where everyone's was thinking about with this interview, it's always the big topic, his sexuality. And I think had asked that, and it was like, where do you stand with that? And he said he's fluid. Which is, I was looking at that. I'm like, oh, yeah, we all said that in the beginning. Like, well, back in my day, we said we always used to be like, oh, yeah, I'm bisexual, but then later on you realize you're gay. But like I said, again, it's none of our business. But he got on the interview, and it was definitely something that people were talking about. I think it was yesterday. It came out yesterday. It was weird. I was wondering if you knew about it. I want to get your little take on it.
I remember watching the videos, and in my brain, I'm like, well, it's nothing he should be ashamed about. He recorded it. Like, I recorded it. Like, it wasn't like there was a secret elevator moment, or like somebody hid a camera. They leaked it, but you recorded it. He knew what he was doing. And I also feel like we don't have to get in the space where we have to explain our sexuality to anybody. Like, I do what the fuck I want because I'm grown. And being sexually fluid also airs on more so in the pansexual part of the spectrum, because that means that you're open to doing whatever, like I said earlier, whatever makes you come do it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, whatever makes you come do it.
And that's kind of what he said too. He was like, I'm more or less of like whoever I can connect with emotionally. Like, it's not about physical, like it's not about this or that. It's about like the connection I had with somebody. So I said, okay, that seems pan, but also, you decide what you are, and if he says he's fluid, he's fluid. Okay.
Yeah, sexually fluid, be fluid. I mean, sexuality is fluid. Anyway. Right. Sexuality is fluid in general. Like, and I think that it's more of mental hurdles for a lot of people to be sexually explorative, which means that you kind of if you remove the social stigmas of sex, you can do whatever you want just to explore and see what you like. And him saying that he's sexually fluid now, he could decide in 2 years, like, actually I identify as heterosexual because I found that I have a stronger connection with women emotionally, intellectually, and sexually than I did with men. And so this is where I am now. And it's his right to say that because it's his body and it's his sexuality. So we have to be careful with this idea or notion that when someone comes out and says they're bisexual, that automatically means that they're in transition to be gay. I am a bisexual male in a homosexual relationship by choice, because I chose to be with the partner that I'm with, right? I love this man that I'm with. Had in any moment there had been a woman that I connected with on the levels I connect with him, I would have been with her, because I've been in that space before where I connected with her in that space. So it's like, no, me being able to say I am sexually free, which means I take autonomy over my sexuality. I'm the authority. I'm a sovereign being, and I get to choose what I want to do. And that goes without explanation to anyone. No one really needs to know or care about your sexuality except the people you're having sex with.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts
I
on
was just
it.
very curious that he was like, why did you pick Joe? Out of all the people, Joe?
But didn't we just have this conversation about supporting Black platforms?
Oh, okay, all right. I'm not saying,
I'm just saying
David Letterman.
That was literally the last story.
No, I'm not saying he should be on the Jimmy Kimmel show or nothing like that. I'm like, Joe.
But Joe probably asked.
When it comes, okay, he probably asked, sure. But when it comes to these topics, and I get it, he's very like, I'm not gonna say woke because that term is so old. Joe had this conversation before. Okay, I mean, with himself, and not trying to say that he's anything, but like, that was a conversation that you ain't see that clip?
I thought he was making a joke saying that he like
but he got on some show, some barbershop show, child, and they were asking about it, and he basically said, if that was the case, then what does that change with us? It's the fact that, because I guess the dudes was like, well, if that's true, then it'll be weird, and he was going back and forth. But then that was a good moment. I was like, okay, Joe, look, growth.
That was awesome. Right. That's great, but that was also supposition. It was giving very much if then, not I am. It was very if I am, then what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't a.
No, I'm not trying to say that he is or not. I'm just saying like he's definitely like he's
open. He's open to the dialogue, and that's good.
right.
That's great. I mean, I think it's great that he's
I
opening
like
that
most
space.
heterosexual men because it's just like,
Right. And I think that if heterosexual men in general, because I will say there are a lot of DL thirsty gay men who literally get their rocks off trying to turn people out. And it's like, oh, that's a straight man because they're attracted to masculinity and whatever their desires are. Can sometimes become disrespectful in their approach because you never really know what people like until you know. If there was a straight man that I was attracted to, I don't feel that there's anything wrong with shooting your shot, but just be respectful. And then when you get shot down, just keep it cool.
just bow out.
Right. But it's funny because straight men do the same thing with women. We had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago about how some straight men will literally hound a lesbian. Like, oh, you just ain't tried it yet, and all the kind of stuff where it literally becomes sexual harassment. And so for Newark Pride, that I'm a producer of the Newark Pride Festival here in Newark, we were founded in 2005 after the murder of a 15-year-old lesbian who was being approached by two straight men at night here in Newark downtown, and she wouldn't get in the car with them, and she wasn't interested in them because she was a lesbian. Like, no. They denied her, and they found her, and then killed her.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? So you have to be careful out here in these streets still. But I'm glad that Joe opened up the conversation. He gave Isaiah Rashad a platform to share his story and his perspective, and I think that we do need to have more conversations like that. So I'm gonna go back and watch the whole interview. But I did read a couple of articles on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, and that is that on that. One more topic that I wanted to talk about real quick.
Legs and hips and drama. No, ain't no body, child. This is drama. Girl, Candy girl.
First of all, let's get on Candy, because first of all, Candy, why would you ever in your life think that you can go and win a versus battle? Not do a versus battle, but win a versus battle with Destiny's Child.
Now, let me tell you, TLC got some bops. I went and saw them when they performed with Tamar in Jersey in 2009.
Huh? You mean Escape?
Oh, my bad. Freudian slip. Escape has bops. And I think it's crazy because I was raised in that period where Escape was popular and then like that their last album and then Destiny's Child kind of like and TLC were like soaring at the same time. I don't feel like Escape is comparable to a Destiny's Child because like literally Candy's right. She wrote songs for Destiny's Child. Like y'all, they were coming up when y'all were already out and when y'all like second and third album. Y'all should be trying to be in the conversation with En Vogue and SWV and those people. Those people. Because the generation we got now, like we know Destiny's Child back and forward, okay, all 4 or 5 albums, okay, and then independently, okay, you got even the girls that's not in the group no more, okay. If LaToya Luckett hit the stage and sang a song, bitch, you already lost, okay, you lost, Okay, Candy just won another bag.
Destiny's Child will beat y'all with the songs that you wrote, Candy. How'd that work? But it will.
Okay.
Like, let's be clear.
Candy just won another bag. Candy is the bag collector. That's what I'm gonna start calling her. Sheree's the bone collector. Candy's the bag collector. She's just like, look, let's get Destiny's Child on this stage.
We're going to find another check.
Because Beyonce ain't coming.
Beyonce, so
I'm not coming to that.
Beyonce. I know Beyonce heard that. In her chambers, child. It must have somehow got to her dang West Wing.
Beyonce be laughing at these requests, child. I have performed at the Super Bowl. I'm not going to no damn verses.
Like what? And drink Ciroc and Doritos.
We're gonna be drinking Douce. That would be the most craziest. That'd be the craziest night ever. I do believe. You can get Michelle and Tasha. They can sing their gospel songs.
Well, you know, I got me a gospel song coming out soon. Here. Go ahead, play it. How did
like to hear? Here you go.
Boop.
But yeah, Candy Girl, listen, no, that's not gonna happen. It's a chop.
It's a chop. Just like last episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, girl. What was going on with that? Dang. I mean, it really was. It really was. I just have a couple things that I want to say about the show because I know I did a recap with my mutual El Teddy, but the conversation that's gonna happen is gonna be a resurgence into the next episode about these damn vibrators that the husbands are able to control. What Candy at your big age? Why are we still doing like? I get it, like it's her stick. It's her stick.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's like it would be one thing if it was like, okay, we're going to a bachelor party, or we going to this where there's going to be some strippers there. Like, we are supporting your play, and you're making us put things up our vaginal areas, and then like other husbands got control of other people's stuff because he said, yeah, some of the remotes have can control multiple vibrators. I'm like, this is not appropriate. I'm sorry, and I don't want to sound like a prude because I'm very sex positive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love some sex, but like at some point, it's getting old. I think for me, it's just getting old.
It's getting weird.
It's getting weird, and everybody comes to Kenya like, "Oh my God, Kenya's so boring for not doing that." Like,
I don't want nobody to have. Well, I mean, listen, it's like I said, autonomy of self is important, and Kenya is well within her rights to be like, I don't want nobody to have a remote to have me having orgasms throughout the day. Like, that's her choice. I think that we have to make sure that we're not being ageist when we do talk about sex, because I do believe that women sometimes get the short end of the stick when it comes to sex as they age, because of a lot of different changes in their body, like a lot of hormonal changes, their sex drive depletes, as males have like this resurgence of sexual energy, which is why you see a lot of them cheat. But they really just want to get their rocks off, and the wives be tired and to get all this other stuff going on. So I think it's always good for them to be able to have the opportunity to spice things up. The idea of having a remote control vibrator is not new. They've been around for almost 10, 15 years. And it also falls in her brand with her candy coated collection. So I'm not surprised that she wants to have this conversation to promote her new product. But the idea of there being of another woman's husband having access to stimulate me sexually kind of crosses a boundary.
Yes.
Like that's
give me the damn vibrator. I can use it, but I'm not going to use it today. This is something I do with my partner, my person I'm messing with. Thank you so much for the free merch.
Right.
I mean, but I'm not going to do it here.
Thank you so much. We all going to buy it.
You're like, that's just the same thing when they was doing like the twerking contest for the best room. Like they did that last year and last season. It's just like, and I don't want to, because look, they got to be like themselves. But
whole room smell like motherhood.
Everybody else, like, you don't see no Housewives of Beverly Hills doing this shit.
But that's not part of their culture. Twerking is part of our culture. We're Black. Like that's literally like ancestral to us, and it has to do with like aligning your chakras. Like it's literally part of African culture. Twerking is a cultural dance, and everything about Blackness was made to be negative or derogatory, and that's part of the patriarchy. That's part of white supremacy too, telling us that everything about us is bad. Our skin color is bad. The food we like is bad. That our form of dancing is bad. The music that we like is bad and demonic and all those kind of things. So we do have to detach ourselves from that form of thinking when we're talking about cultural things, cultural movement, and protecting the cultural integrity of our sexuality and all these things. Like, hell, how are we gonna keep getting Black people if we're not sexual? Okay, like twerking is literally part of a mating ritual. Like,
man, look.
Bitches will get dropped on the ground and throw that ass so they can get that prince to choose them as their first, second, or third wife, because that's part of the culture.
Well, you
right?
know, I gotta
So much
be,
so
I
much
gotta
so
be
that
like your girl Nene. I gotta be like your girl Nene right now. You know, I don't like it. Am I wrong for not wanting to dildo up my? Let me see.
up my ass, right, right.
Like
But Nene was
everybody's in
a
there
too.
Versace and different. Like, come
Right.
on, like.
Right. So I mean, there's a time and place for everything, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think it's a great opportunity for to plug her product. But if you with it, you with it. If you're not, then it's okay for you to say that
I
you're
didn't
not.
mind when it was the bachelorette party with Cynthia and Bolo and all that. Like, you know, we're at a secluded area and this is a, you know, bridal shower. We're going to your play.
You ain't have to play now. It ain't like I'm on stage telling everybody in the audience to put the vibrator up there. Woo-ha. Okay, we're having a private girl moment. Having a private girl moment. Yeah, you came to see my play, but while you here, I got this product and I want you guys to test it out. Thank you for coming. Let me know how it works. You know, for you single ladies, here's the remote for yourself. Purr.
Oh, hey, bestie. Oh, Zonadol, that's my best friend in the comments.
Hey, Zonadol, we love the dolls, honey.
Yes, yes, she's another doll.
Right. I'm glad I'm not a woman though, because I navigating this life. This is ghetto. I'm like, y'all gonna tell me I can't have an abortion, but y'all want me to put these fucking robots up my coochie and be out here spazzing out in Whole Foods because the nigga got a remote and clicking my coochie. Like, what's gonna happen is niggas gonna just start selling the remotes and be in random spaces, just pushing to see who got one up there.
Not like, a universal remote.
A universal remote just walking around like, oh yeah, she with it. And that's a movement. It's like, hard. Hey, women, you looking for a man? You don't leave your house today without putting this up your coochie because you never know who has a remote.
Child, that's gonna be a whole new form of assault, child.
Now that's a matchmaking party right there. Like when you walk in the door, you know, you sign in, you get your little name badge, and this is your personal gift. There's a remote in here for you. Okay, so while you're walking around meeting people, you may get shocked. Okay, and the person that shocks you get a chance to have a conversation with, like, oh, I like how you hit that button, honey. What's your name? What's your sign?
No,
what's
child.
your job? Okay, occupation, please. But yeah, this world is crazy. Everything we talked about today just let me know, like, America is insane.
Yeah.
America is insane. We are insane. We are living in the upside down. We're in the upside down, y'all. Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's either that or Black Mirror.
Basically, it's giving all of that. It's giving all of that.
Child, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. That is it for today. That's all our topics. We won't be here next week, obviously, because I got the interview tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next Friday. So, you know, hopefully things work out with that. And also graduate next week. Hey, finally get my degree in media arts. Shout out to me. You know what I'm saying? I've been working.
Yes.
But anyway, until next time, I'm your host, Darren Green.
I'm Prince Derek Dahl.
And this is the Darren Green Show, signing out. Bye, y'all.
Bye.